Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Joey Central here, and this is just going to be a brief little reaction to Death Battle's recent video, The Chosen Undead versus the Dragonborn. So, disclaimer, there's going to be spoilers. If you have not watched that video, I recommend you do that before you watch this video. I'll have the link down below in the description. But, you know, with that said, I pretty much knew the Dragonborn was going to win the moment they announced this battle. For a couple of reasons. One reason, the Dragonborn is super OP busted, especially when you talk about the lore version. Now, I think Elder Scrolls lore is just as convoluted and ambiguous as the lore in just about any Souls game, in my opinion, of course. But you've got a guy who basically beats a world-ending dragon, who basically is capable of ending all life and afterlife. So, you know, he's just super powerful and super busted. Now, gameplay-wise, he's about as powerful as, like, an Elder Dragon, which is pretty pathetic, considering his lore, his feats in lore, but, yeah, supposedly he's the most powerful being ever, and he beat him, so that pretty much buffs up his resume, and then he beats, you know, he's able to defeat other guys like Harkon and Mirak, who's basically not as powerful. They're like chumps compared to Alduin, but they're pretty much pretty powerful as well, with Mirak probably being a lot more powerful than Harkon, but still pretty powerful compared to the rest in the in that universe. Yeah, I mean, it's just, he's really busted, and then you got other things as well. You got like the Daedric artifacts, which is like really busted. You got the shouts that are really busted as well, and you know, he's just a really OP character overall. And you know, you're gonna need someone really strong to be able to compete with that. Another reason is the Chosen Undead is arguably the weakest Fromsoft protagonist when it comes to power scaling. You got the Ashen One, who is also from Dark Souls. You got the Hunter from Bloodborne, and you have the Tarnished from Elden Ring, who, in my opinion, would have been far better choices to put if you're going to choose a Fromsoft protagonist in a death battle than the Chosen Undead. The fact that they picked the Chosen Undead instead of any of those three tells me they probably don't know much of anything about FromSoft lore. And you know what? Speaking of like researching in the death battle itself, it's pretty clear that they don't really have as much of an understanding that is required. That's the problem with the death battle cast. They did not do their research on this one. They never talked about status effects in Dark Souls, for an example. They never talked about poison, never talked about toxic, never talked about bleed. They never talked about any of these statuses at all. Okay? And they also never even mention half-breed Priscilla, or the Painted World, and why Priscilla was put into the Painted World in the first place. And the reason why she was put into the Painted World was because she was exiled from Lordran itself because they feared her Life Hunt Scythe. The Life Hunt Scythe is supposedly strong enough to slay any god in the Dark Souls universe. Didn't mention that. Not one mention of the Life Hunt Scythe whatsoever, period. And then the second biggest gripe I have with the death battle itself was the music. Like, I get they want to promote this guy's music. There's something going on behind the scenes, financially, obviously. But when the Moonlight Greatsword shows up, okay, especially when the Chosen Undead holds it the same exact way that Ludwig the Holy Blade literally held it, you need to have the OST play. You need to have the fucking OST play. The fact they did not play that soundtrack is a huge missed opportunity. Like, I don't give a fuck about monetization or copyright or whatever. You need to play that shit, dude. And by the way, even if it was just for 30 seconds, that would, and with a 27 or 28 minute long video, that would have fallen under fair right usage. So that was a huge missed opportunity right there. Okay, and I'm not dissing this guy's music or whatever. Like, it's okay, I guess, but like, you needed to have the Holy Moonlight Greatsword playing. The fact you didn't have that is a missed opportunity right there. But overall, this video never should have been made. It should have been Elden Ring versus Skyrim, Tarnished versus Dragonborn. That's what it should have been. That would have been a way more competitive battle. Okay? And if they're going to do that, they need to really research the Elden Ring lore, not just the basic sort of rundown or whatever about, Queen America shattered the ring and all that other shit. No, they need to study the fucking game itself, okay? That's what they have to do. Study the fucking game, study the fucking lore, talk about status effects, okay? Because I'm telling you right now that that would be a far better battle. Like, the power scaling in Elden Ring triumphs over the power scaling over Dark Souls. Like, the Tarnish could beat the Chosen Undead as easily, if not easier, than the Dragonborn could have beaten the Chosen Undead. That's how big the power scaling is in Elden Ring versus Dark Souls. So that was a huge missed opportunity by Death Battle's part. Overall, I have to say I'm pretty disappointed by it. Even though the animations were good, I just don't think there was enough research that went into Dark Souls. I think they should have done their research a little bit better. Because if they did the research, they would have found out that having the Chosen Undead wouldn't have made much sense in the first place. Like, they should have picked a different protagonist. The fact that they didn't tells me they didn't do their research at all. So, this was stupid. Obviously, the Dragonborn was going to win. I thought the only thing that would have been interesting was they added some sort of constraint to the Dragonborn. So, he was limited somewhat in his powers, but they didn't do that. So, yep, obviously Dragonborn is going to win. Death Battle, hopefully they do their research better the next time they cover any sort of Fromsoft character, be it protagonist or demigod or boss or whatever. So that's my thoughts, that's my opinion, and that's pretty much all I wanted to share.